And what's up, y'all? You're listening to another episode of the For All Nerds Show, the voice of the urban geek, where we talk about geek culture from the perspective of people of color. And as always, it's the captain of the spaceship, your boy, DJ Ben Amin, aka Dr. Doing Too Much, aka Keep That Same Energy On When You See Me, Bubba Gumption, Kevin Bacon of the internet. What up, Dallas Penn? Amongst other things, as always, I'm here in the spaceship. Thank you all for joining us. And I'm joined by
Tatiana King Jones, the Grand Duchess of Tech, also known as Toffee Baratheon, Sean Jean-Luc Picard, Aaron Yeagerbaum, Princess Preach, and Jem and the Hollow Fam.
I see behind you. I might as well also say that AKA author of The World Is Yours.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Do you
beautifully
see
displayed on that YouTube that you should be subscribed to. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, likes, all that good stuff, comments. But before we get into too much self-promotion, let's welcome our third member.
Speaking of self-promotion, I am Definitely Says, aka Miles Morasset's Brainiac, 5 Rat, Kill Bill Monger, 7 of 99 Problems, and the King in the North Face.
Yo, this man is so freaking loud. It's amazing.
Yeah. I love the energy, though. Love the energy. Yes. Kill Bill Monger. I like that one. Very nice.
I like that. I
Very
like
well
that.
Done. Very well done there. And like we said before, this is the For All Nerds Show. And, you know, we talk about geek culture from the perspective of people of color. Thank you to everyone out there supporting. Thank you to all the new listeners, all the new subscribers, everybody out there on the internets, on the social medias at For All Nerds. Thank you for following, liking, you know, commenting, tweeting, all those great things y'all doing out there. We love it. We got big things coming up. New York City Comic-Con is going down in a couple of weeks, and you already know. I mean, we're going to talk about more of that a little later in the show. You know, we're going to get to that because this week's been crazy. I mean, you know, we got an just stupid interview coming up.
Yo, this interview is everything.
The Wreck-It Ralph news broke today. Everybody's talking about Wreck-It Ralph, but yesterday,
Ralph breaks the internet specifically.
Yes, Ralph breaks the internet. You know, you'll hear a lot more about that in a few minutes. But you know, first of all, I almost shed tears, folks, and I've even seen stuff I can't even talk about. But that Captain Marvel trailer,
bro, I was hype. When I say when that lady busted through the roof of that Blockbuster video, I said we are in 1993. It is litty. I was so excited. We all knew, number one, that this was going to be set in the 90s, but along with that comes a lot of nostalgia, and also you get to see the younger versions of the characters that you've actually come to learn and love in the Marvel series, and you also get to see a lot of new ones. We saw what took me back, and I was like, okay, we saw young Agent Coulson, looking good. I like the cut. We saw Young Fury. I like it. I know. Shout out to the Blur Girl. She actually referenced a movie, like an old movie that I know you knew about, Ben. That he had that haircut from.
Oh yeah, The Long Orchestra Night. Classic.
There it is.
Yeah.
I thought it was The Time to Kill.
Yeah,
yes, he deserved to die, and I hope he burned in hell. You happy now?
I mean, you could go back to any 90s juice. I mean, you name any movie from the 90s that had black people in it, and Samuel Jackson was in that joint.
I saw that.
He had
that's the first thing that came to mind.
Well, he had that hairline. First of all, Disney's tech in aging down people is pretty damn good, if I do say so myself.
Most impressive.
Really, what was more impressive was the fact that we're getting a freaking Captain Marvel movie in this day and age. Like, what a time to be alive. You're getting a movie, you're getting a series movie where you're seeing things that you never would think would happen, that you read in comic books, that you've seen in the animation. I mean, we got to see the freaking Olden Force, and now you're telling me we're going to see Captain Marvel in all her glory? Carol Danvers specifically.
Beyond that, we're going to see the binary force, which you saw at the very end of the trailer when Carol was doing her full power up. And let me say this. I know this is like, Wonder Woman was that joint, and I know women are all over the internet hype, but
Please don't pit them together. Next, please don't say Wonder Woman versus Captain Marvel.
No,
please
not even. No, I would never, because I want to say something else. Like, Carol Danvers is that woman to me. Like, I love Monica Rambeau. I grew up on her as well. But Captain Marvel and Carol Danvers is like one of the first comics I read. She had one of the most emotional issues in it. I grew up as a super fan of Rogue, and so Carol Danvers' story is intertwined with her. So this is a moment for me to see all this stuff on screen, to see, like I said before, the binary power just in all its glory, and then to see Maria Rambeau, which we know is going to lead to Monica, and to
Yes.
see their sisterhood, to see the Top Gun shot of them walking out together.
That I think that's so fire to be able to see them both in the Air Force and to see women fighter pilots. I assume that's what they're representing here. I mean, for me as someone who's always loved things like that, because that's also adjacent to people like astronauts, like when you're in the Air Force and things like that. And so seeing women, and then also seeing Maria Rambeau reminding me of my, astronaut heroes, my pilot heroes that are women, Black women, you know what I'm saying? Specifically Dr. Mae Jemison. So like that threw me for a loop, and just in terms of making me get hyped. But honestly, the entire trailer, and that's another thing, you guys, we have to be very careful for. And I'll tell this, I'm really speaking to everyone listening right now. Be careful about what you see in the trailer, because 90% of it is lies. 90% of it. If watching Marvel trailers have taught you anything, especially how we pointed out, we even went through and had a whole Twitter thread about it when we were talking about Infinity War. Everything you see is probably a lie, from the color of people's shirt to where they're standing in the shot to what they have on. It's a lie, because they alter everything to throw you off the trail.
I would even equate it to a track that's not going to be on the album.
Yes.
You hear it and you're like, yo, that's going to be fire. When it's on the album, I can't wait to run it. Well, it's going to be in your streaming service, but it may not be on the album. One thing that I'm impressed at is just the visuals in general from what they showed. They didn't show too much. It didn't really hype me the way other trailers have hyped me before, but that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. Like, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like I wasn't throwing my wallet at it, but I'm already committed. You know what I'm saying? But what I saw, I'm still processing a lot of what I saw with her showing the full extent of her powers. We're seeing, we see the Skrulls. I think the Skrulls are going to be the ones that are in with me. She punched the old lady in the face, which I'm assuming is a Skrull. I'm hoping, and if not, then it's a
Skrull.
I'll be there in the movie. I'm not gonna lie, I saw it and I resisted the urge to shout World Star at work, but I was about to shout World Star because that's the energy that she was literally giving out. I think one thing that's going to be dope about this is, I remember last year, or whenever, did Wonder Woman come out? I don't even know the years anymore. Did it come out 17 or 16?
16.
Hey Jeff, you got a computer for me. Why don't you just Google it while you talk? All right, yeah, that's a good idea. So
2017,
right? So I remember getting into arguments with people on Twitter, because why not? That's what it's there for. Got into arguments with people about the lack of promotion for Wonder Woman. Not like how the real first superhero movie for a woman, like the flagship woman superhero being promoted, like that it wasn't promoted to the extent that other movies were promoted. Just to give you an idea of how cerebral Marvel Studios is with their marketing. Today, I believe, is the Air Force's birthday. I believe.
Wow.
Air Force's birthday.
Game recognized.
And September 18th. The U.S. Air Force was founded in 1947.
Wow.
And it's going to release on International Women's Day.
Yeah.
So just to show you how logical, how cerebral, and how meticulous they are with the way that they promote stuff, nothing is by accident. From the trailers down to the release date, nothing is by accident. So you are about, and this is in no means pitting women against women or whatever, just in terms of marketing campaigns, just for anybody who had an issue or thought Wonder Woman was promoted properly, you about to see something different.
Yeah.
You're about to see
Yeah.
something different from this.
You already
Yeah.
have.
Wonder Woman was promoted very poorly, and I was one of the people at the forefront complaining about that and really pointing out where the issues were. But to your point about how thoughtful and, as you say, cerebral Marvel's being in this, I mean, this is why I fucks with them so heavy when it comes to the MCU, because it has a plan, and I love to see, even if there needs to be changes in the plan, I love to see when things are thought out, repurposed, and actually executed. That's what you need. It's called a game plan, something that DC or WB sorely lacks when it comes to their cinematic universe. That being said, when you said that, Jeff, I immediately thought about Triple H. I was like the cerebral assassin. When it comes to these superhero movies, Marvel is Triple H.
Telling you.
It's not a game, and I mean that's just
It is the game.
It is. Actually, it is.
Actually,
it is.
You know,
Thank you guys. We'll be here all week. We have 2 shows on Saturday.
enjoy the tuna.
right.
Boy, put them boys right in a pedigree.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I know the wrestling fans. The wrestling fans appreciated that. So
Drop them down. Like I gotta segue into that because I used to love how everybody would just bend over for it. You know,
He kicks them. He kicks them in the.
I know he kicks them, but you know it's the rest. Like
It's a natural reflex. Somebody kick you in the stomach. You're not gonna go. Oh.
you need to see the step.
Sell it. There were certain wrestlers who sold it, and there were some who were like,
Oh,
let
yeah.
me,
You got
bend over.
No, the Rock sells it the best because he oversells. He oversells everything.
Rock Stone Cold Stunner. When the Rock takes a Stone Cold Stunner, is a work
The
of
way he
art.
flops.
out the ring.
No, that man would do a 360 on his head. He would be breakdancing like
No, he
something
would.
ill.
But we're getting
No.
off topic. But yes, we're wrestling fans too, guys. But yes, we're getting off topic. But yes, when it comes to the Captain Marvel movie, like I did see some people saying they wasn't that hype about it. That's fine. Some people did.
Just the beginning, though. They're not.
This
They're
is-
not like.
My thing is,
like Jeff
it's
said,
just the
this is for
beginning.
air.
It teased. It
Yeah.
teased. That's
And
what it's supposed
also-
to do. It
Yes.
teased.
Also, like you said, this is on Air Force Day, so they showed a lot more of the grounded Captain Marvel than they showed her really going in ridiculous with it. Because Kevin Feige has said over and over again that she is the most powerful character in the universe at this point.
Yes.
She can push planets.
Yes. I'm curious about how they're gonna do Marvel, Jude Law. Because there was a quick clip of him, like a quick,
Yep.
and then they went over. So what's that yep mean, Ben? What you gotta tell me?
I can't. I'm not even that I can't tell you anything. I don't know, but there are some hints. But once again, in the trailers, they do these trailers. There's a quick hint that maybe Jude Law either isn't playing Marvel or whoever he's playing, if he is playing Marvel, turns against Carol by the end of the film.
I think it's the latter because in IMDb it says he's Marvel.
But Marvel likes to lie, and there is another Kree warrior who is, who he could be playing. So,
And it also depends on how they take the background, because I believe she got her powers from Marvel. So
She did get it from Marvel.
Yeah,
but not directly. She never met him.
No, it was like it was
from him, but she didn't know.
Right.
He
So
wore the nega bands, and she got powered from the Kree technology, etc.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Right.
if they're gonna yada 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 around that or MCU it up and change it up, then fine. But up is down. And especially when scrolls are involved, I don't trust shit.
Right. One of the things that's interesting, and an eagle eye person saw this, that there is a frame that they paused where you see Carol, she's looking off in the distance somewhere, and maybe about chest height, maybe even a little bit lower, you see what appears to be like afro, like a kid size person with afro curly hair.
Yep.
So they were like, "Is that Monica?"
Well, yeah. More to come.
Ben knows so much, and you guys have no idea.
And I just try to be quiet. Disney's lawyers are vicious, folks. All right. Speaking of Disney and being vicious, just putting the hammer down. Breaking news, right before we hopped on the spaceship, they announced that on their new streaming service, they are dropping a Loki and a Scarlet Witch series. Not Loki and the Scarlet Witch.
Right, because I was like, that combination seems weird.
Yeah, that's a little off. I mean, if they were going hard on the magical aspect of, the MCU, that would work out. But no, 2 separate series starring Tom Hiddleston and
Elizabeth Olsen. So now I am 1,000,000,000% here for a Loki limited series. I'm with it. I love him. He's a Disney prince. Awesome. Not so much for now. Here's the thing. I like Scarlet Witch as a character. I like that she's getting better in the films, but I'm not exactly checking for it. But then again, it's just her. It's not her and Vision. So I think I could stomach it.
Oh,
because I can't. I cannot stomach the Vision Elizabeth Olsen relationship on screen. Like I see no chemistry. That I don't feel it. Like I've been saying this since before. Every time I seen them on screen, I'm like, for what? Like, who cares? Go and die. Let's move on.
As someone who, like, that was one of my favorite relationships when I was growing up as a kid.
In the comics.
Yeah, no.
Not on screen.
On screen, it has not been working.
No.
No.
So it's not a Vision Scarlet Witch thing. Cool. However, we'll see what happens with this. You know, like I said, I'm not exactly checking for it, but I'm not downing it either. Let's see what happens. But I am 1,000,000,000% here for Tom Hiddleston led limited series on Loki.
Yeah, I think it's Marvel taking their heat check and building more towards the cinematic universe and building content for their streaming service, which is completely smart. I personally don't mind Vision and Scarlet Witch on screen. I'd love to see what they do with her. It's real intriguing to think what they could do and who they can introduce. And part of that report was that they may introduce people who haven't been seen on screen yet. So you may get a situation where first appearances in the MCU would be on the streaming service, and then they would end up in the movies. So that could even create a more diversified entry point into the MCU for actors who are playing certain roles.
This is true.
And even thinking forward, don't know what's going to happen with Marvel TV and Netflix and all of that. But if there's ever like a rights thing that reverts or something like that, then, you know, that opens the door even more for them to be on the streaming service and do whatever it is that they want to do. If I was Netflix, I'm not giving them up. But I could say anything else going forward. I don't think any other Marvel characters are going to Netflix.
Highly doubtful, or probably not even like ABC Freeform. Or
no, they've said already it's a wrap when it comes to putting, at least as far as this Disney streaming service is concerned. Nothing else is going to Netflix, and in fact, I don't know if they're even gonna pull anything like they're not gonna. After a certain point, I forgot the year, but I believe, I don't want to say late 2019, but at some point they're going to just stop developing with Netflix. And they said that they're going to forgo the profit that they can make because they want to keep stuff in house. I mean, on top of this news, you guys already know this. They're developing a Star Wars series. They're developing a show based on High School Musical. They're developing that Lady in the Tramp film. They're doing that Dumbo film. I mean, this, and like I said, all this stuff is going to be accessible on the new Disney platform. And to your point, Jeff, if this is going to work out the way they say it's going to work out, the way they're gunning for this to work out, the way they're planning for this to work out, this would be an exceptional way to introduce new characters.
Right. And even on top of that, Disney owns Freeform. So if they wanted to move Cloak and Dagger to the streaming service,
they could.
I don't know if they would though, because for what Cloak and Dagger offers for that fan base, or maybe it's a situation where since they own all the content and they own the channels, you can stream it on Freeform, and you can stream it on their service. Just to put it all in one place.
And they want to build up Freeform as well, so they're going to keep certain themes on
just
there.
dual.
Like you said, that, you know,
it'll be that one. They have Grownish and all their other young adult stuff.
Yep, and then they can have that, and then they can just have crossovers, whatever they want. So this is definitely a big move. The only part that I don't like is, out of all the deaths in Infinity War, I thought that Tom Hiddleston's was the one that I was hoping to stick the most.
Really?
Because, not that I don't love him as Loki. That's not the point of it. I just feel like his character arc. Now, there's other things you can do with him, but I feel like his arc from the MCU is one of the few that really was finished. And also his moment at the end when he, before he dies, when he says, "I'm Odin's son." And he cites everything, Prince of the Jotunheim. Like,
well, how do you know?
He owns his, and it's like throughout the movies, he's been on this path, and he finally comes to the path of
right. But for all you know, this could be his lead up to being
That I
who
would
the Loki is.
absolutely.
So which is all the previous stuff that's happened in between the movies.
Yes.
So it still may not mess with the timeline. And further, Marvel always has, what did I say earlier? A plan.
Plan, yeah.
So I feel like they are not going to necessarily disrupt the current timeline, at least not until Infinity War 2. They're not going to necessarily disrupt that. So people are dead now. They're going to remain dead. It's just they're going to use that story from a different aspect of their life.
And they still have the cheat code of bringing everybody back with the
Right. Right. I mean, at the end of the day, you got that cheat code.
Yeah.
And I know some people are definitely going to come back. Obviously, that's not the part I'm worried about. And I'm not one of those people who feel that takes away. I feel like their deaths still hold a lot of weight because it's still in that moment they died. But I just felt like that was the one thing. And but they'll probably go this route. I really hope they explore the stuff that's been done with Loki in recent years, like the young Loki when he becomes a teenager again and joins the Young Avengers and all that stuff, because that character is hilarious and so dope. So I hope they get to go into all of that. So, but I'm down for it. Sounds great to me. And you know what else sounds great is the rest of this episode. We have the one and only Pamela Ribbon in the house tonight. Lord have mercy. Y'all not ready for this. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with more of the show.